not letting those other people affect you in any way.
Right. I mean, I'm positive I'm not the only person who's been on your show because I had sex. So all of those negative comments don't really hurt my feelings.
Well, they left our show with the promise of a new beginning. Do you think things worked out? Well, today we have Maury guest updates. We will never forget a young mother named Liliana who had a one-night stand with a man named Cornelius, and she was certain that he was the father of her son, Toronto. But as you're about to see, there are always two sides to a paternity story on The Maury Show. Watch. What label did he give you?
I am labeled as the evil white woman because I am trying to pin my baby on a young, educated black man. He has it made up in his head that this is not his baby and he can just roll with whatever comes into his mind.
It was a one-night stand.
In the hour
That's false.
of meeting her.
That's false.
So I met her and had sex the same day.
You find out you're pregnant a month later. You can't get in touch with him.
She couldn't find me because she didn't know my name.
I did know your name, Cornelius.
6 weeks into Toronto's life, some bad things happened.
Toronto had completely stopped breathing. We had to take him to the hospital, and he was air flighted to the biggest children's hospital in our state, and they told me that he had laryngomalacia.
Cornelius says that those medical issues don't run in his family.
You know what? I don't know what Cornelius
I have a
thinks.
perfectly
These are not,
healthy
this is
daughter.
not a-
This story could be a condom commercial.
It should be.
No,
it
he
should be. It
didn't.
teaches you that
Cornelius, you
safe
could
sex
not
is the
find
best
a
sex.
condom. You had a map to
Once
A
they
condom
say that I'm not the
commercial,
father,
a condom
I will
commercial.
definitely be picking up 2 big boxes of condoms, and I will be using
2 big boxes of condoms. Make sure they're extra
Too big.
small.
Okay, so Liliana wasn't only angry with Cornelius, it was time to meet Kayla and find out the results of the paternity test. Cornelius thinks that you and Liliana are in cahoots.
I don't understand how it could be in cahoots with someone. I have my own 2 children that I deal with. I do not have time to deal with that baby daddy drama. Just
Never
go.
seen me. Like, what?
And that's okay that we've never met, but I don't like your
But
demeanor.
you
I don't
like
like
me,
how you
though.
talk to
You like
people.
me
It's
on
not
this.
right.
Why would you move away from the father if I'm the alleged father?
Did you try to see Toronto recently?
He was 3 months. He had hit me up. He asked my guy, like, oh, this might be his kid. We chopped it up. We talked. And, I told her, like, we had unprotected sex, so it's a possibility. Call my nippy.
You pick and choose what kids to take care of, Cornelius.
In the case of 9-month-old Toronto, Cornelius, you are not the father. So, after that show, Liliana did some soul searching. And today she's joining us again from Sherman, Texas. You see, Liliana has paternity tested a second man named Teyon, who she believes is Toronto's father. So we've given Teyon a DNA test. We're going to find out those results shortly. So, Liliana, how'd you feel after hearing the results about Cornelius?
Honestly, Maury, I was very relieved to hear that Cornelius was not Toronto's dad. He's a little bit too much for me and everything he has going on. It was definitely a bullet dodged for sure.
I understand that you received a lot of backlash from your appearance on this show. What do you mean by that?
I did. I was torn apart on social media by strangers, essentially, that I didn't know. And there was a whole lot of negative comments. And I just wanted everybody to know, things happen. And I mean, all I can do is move forward and try to do the right thing. And I'm not doing this show just to do it. I'm doing it to make sure my son has his dad in his life.
You're pretty strong in that way. You're not letting those other people affect you in any way.
Right. I mean, I'm positive I'm not the only person who's been on your show because I had sex. So all of those negative comments don't really hurt my feelings.
Well, let's move on. You brought a man named Teyon on the show. How does he fit into the equation?
Around the time that I got pregnant, Teyon was one of the possibilities. Teyon is my tattoo artist. Me and Teyon met because Teyon did a tattoo for me. Teyon did a memorial for my grandmother. It's beautiful. I love it. You know what? We talked a lot. We ended up, becoming friends, and one thing led to another, and we ended up having sex.
Was it one time, more than one time?
It was one time that led to the pregnancy.
Did you tell Teyon when you were pregnant that he could be a possibility?
I did. I did tell Teyon from the beginning that there was another possibility, and he took it very well. Actually, he's not immature. He's not rude. He's not disrespectful. From the beginning, it was discussed we will be getting a DNA test at some point, and you know what? That's why I called you guys.
Okay, but I mean, it's different because you live in Texas He lives in Wisconsin. Has he ever seen Toronto?
He has. Teyon has met Toronto I would say he's met him 2 or 3 times, and it was great. Like, Teyon is very good with Toronto. Teyon is very good with his other children, and honestly, it would be like the biggest relief if he is Toronto's dad because he's so good with him.
You think they look alike?
You know, I really think they do look alike. The nose. I think it's the nose for me. Like, it's a wider nose, and it's just the face shape for me and the head.
So, as I said, Teyon lives in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and he's joining us now. Teyon, did you know Liliana had tested another guy on the show?
I just found out after watching the first show.
When did you find out that you possibly could be the father?
I think Liliana was like a few months pregnant. She hit me up asking, can I go back into the messages to see if time added up or whatnot.
But she kind of left you alone after that because she was concentrating on this other guy, right?
When I started talking to Liliana, she was in a relationship. And another thing was she stayed like 2 hours away from me. So the distance in between us also made it a little difficult to be there and whatnot.
So Liliana says that you've seen Toronto a couple of times. Do you see any similarities?
When I look at my other kids, not too much. The nose, I would say, and of course you could tell that Toronto is mixed. So, I mean, it's a possibility.
You know that's your baby. Stop it.
That's why we're here today.
And what happens if he is yours?
If he's mine, I'm going to fully step up and take responsibility for Toronto.
If he's your baby, I'm getting on an airplane and coming to Wisconsin. What? I'm not going to keep you guys apart any longer than it's already been. He needs you like he needs his dad.
We're going to find out right now, okay? In the case of 9-month-old Toronto, Teyon, you are not the father.
Never stops.
Is this funny? This is not funny, Liliana. It's not funny.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You are not the father.